Hello and welcome to the first in, I hope to be a series of at least 2 or 3 videos documenting the restoration of Krang's android body. And I'm putting this out on the internet even if only like 5 people watch it, because I obviously was looking for videos that covers this sort of thing, and there are a few, but they don't cover the exact things that I've been dealing with, and so I've been having to watch like other action figure videos to get tips and tricks and ideas for exactly what I'm up against, because I'm a novice when it comes to this sort of thing. I've done, like snap together model kits. I can do model paint. I can, I have tools and stuff, but I'm not like some action figure guru. So basically, here's what I'm working with. So I have long wanted, and obviously I now have Krang's android body, and I was a big TMNT fan as a kid, still am, but this was kind of like the elusive figure that I never got. And as someone who had all the big play sets, it was kind of odd to not have, Krang's android body. And what I love about this is it's an action figure that contains an action figure. It's like I don't know, they don't make anything else like this in the line, really. It's the deluxe action figure. It's not a vehicle, but it kind of is. It's like a vehicle action figure. But when I originally got this, and if I have photos, I'll be putting them up right now in the corner here, it looked like garbage. It had scuffs all over the place. The silver paint there was, scuffed or missing in some areas. These were in very bad shape. His suspenders, basically. All the stickers are pretty much intact except for the ones on the side there. You can see they're kind of chewed up, and then the one on the back has a little ding on it. And then it actually did not have the antenna here. And the antenna is one of the 2 big things that I've seen missing from this figure. The other one is the door, the hatch. And so when I got this, it didn't have the hatch, didn't have the antenna. It was all scuffed up, and what I did was I took a magic eraser to it and I removed all of the scuffs. Anywhere there was scuff on like a painted area, so like the red and the yellow and the blue, I was very careful not to rub too hard to lose the paint. As for the paint that is missing, there's a little around the blue door there, some on the feet. That's a common thing I've seen. The hands themselves are red rubber, so there's never going to be any scuffs to those. It's not going to lose color there. And these, I believe, are actually like clear plastic, and they are painted silver. And so I took some silver model paint to them, and unfortunately, it took, I want to say, like 4 years to dry. This has been sitting on a shelf, and I would take it down from time to time, and it would still be tacky. And it finally dried, I think. And what I did was I just kind of gave it time, and I also took a paper towel to it and kind of blotted it until it lost some of the stickiness. But yeah, if I'm going to do this again, painting-wise, I'm going to try a different paint, something that won't rub off. And I was using Tester's silver model paint, so maybe painting rubber was a mistake. Maybe I needed to treat it with something. Again, this is all a learning process for me. But yeah, this, as it is right now, and this actually, I was going to say, I constructed out of Sculpey. So I made that with like a white or a gray colored Sculpey. No, actually, I think I made that with silver Sculpey, and then I painted it silver on top, just because the color wasn't quite right. And I actually finally did get a hold of an actual one. So you can see here, I definitely took some artistic liberties. It's a little bigger, a little longer at the top. But I was happy with this. But then over time, that happiness turned into like, oh, what could have been? And so I hit eBay. I had a saved search for his head and his hatch, and a search. I got a hit, and it was not only the head, but it was this insane lot of his right arm, his 2 legs, all of the little pegs. I had no idea that these even were inside the figure until I got them. You can see these little pegs here. These are actually inside of these figures, and the way they attach is, you can see they go in like that. So there's the 2 arm ones, even though I only have one of the arms. There's the 2 leg pegs, and then there is the head peg, which I have here. And that kind of concerns me because and I'll talk about it in a second, the head removal process, I'm wondering how these will play a part. I then later on, much later, this year, in fact, got this off eBay, and this is a hatch part. I spent like $30 on it, which in hindsight, I mean, that's actually cheap for these, which is surprising. Like I've seen these go for as much as 50. These are the parts that everyone loses. And when you find them, they're often in pretty poor shape. This one's actually in kind of poor shape. You can kind of see it's cloudy. It has some real big, they're like gouges that are so deep that the plastic actually rises around them. So these are not something that you can get out with like a polish. And speaking of a polish, I actually had this on hand already because I have a pinball machine, and this is something that you're supposed to use to kind of like clean the surface of a pinball machine. It works for that, but it's also great for plastic that you want to defog, destatic, dust repel, etc. But it just gives it a little more of a shininess to it. So I sprayed a bit of that on this Novus 1, and it looked a little better, but still, it's not in the best shape. Fast forward, not even a month, and this came up on eBay. And this guy, I just got this in the mail. It was, how much was this? I think it was $90, whereas I bought this in pretty rough shape for $45. So the going rate for a Krang, even missing its antenna, missing its door, and this actually did come with these. So these came from this, and it came with this, and it came with a very beautiful, this is actually the big selling point, hatch. So I now have two hatches, but this one, look how clear that is. I polished it up a little bit, but it's just in awesome shape. There's a few scratches on it, but like I have never seen a hatch in such beautiful condition. It's not even yellowing that much. I mean, this one, the old one that I had in this one, I mean, it's kind of night and day when you compare the two in person. I don't know if it comes through on there. You can see it on my black shirt, like just, yeah. So in any case, that's what I was working with. I also had this from that lot of parts. It's the metallic bit. So I have to imagine someone had one of these and this part smashed. And so they're like, well, I might as well sell all the parts except for an arm for some reason. But yeah, this was the one I got. The big part, like I said, was the perfect hatch. But everything else is in really poor shape. It's the like worst looking all around everything Krang that I have sitting on this table. The head has a chunk taken out of the nose. The antenna is missing. All of the stickers are missing or just completely torn off. And the silver paint is coming off all over the place. Everything's intact, thankfully. There's no like tears or gouges, but the feet have little bits missing. You can see here there's like just marks all over it. So it's a gift and a curse, because what I like about this is it's in such poor shape that I'm not going to feel bad if I start ripping these heads and arms off to put on superior heads and arms. And that's my goal. So my goal is now to leave this one as is. This is as good as it's going to get. This one is, I guess I could call this my first Krang. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out how to remove the head, the arms, and the legs from this one. I'm going to figure out, I already know how to remove all of the little dings. I'm going to actually make an effort to paint parts that are scuffed, so like that blue bit there. I'm also going to be replacing all of the stickers with reproduction stickers that I bought from, I think, Australia or New Zealand. They're coming in a few weeks. And at the end of the day, even though this one's in the worst possible shape, I think it's going to outshine this one in the end, which is actually in fairly good shape. Except for, like I said, a few of the stickers are missing or ripped, and it has an antenna that doesn't match. And, at the end of the day, like, I might compare these two and say, you know what, the the winner gets the best hatch. So maybe that'll be the award at the end. Another thing I just wanted to note is that the inside metallic sticker stuff. Now, I bet this is the most reproducible out of all of these, because I bet I could find some like mirror plastic finished mirror, whatever you call it, like material, and just cut it to shape. But honestly, like the back of this one looks really good, as does this one. I'd even say that the pieces that I got are actually not in the best shape. Like I think, I don't know, this piece here, not that great. This one for the bottom part, which goes here, I would actually say this one probably outshines, no pun intended, both of them by a little bit, but it's hardly a piece you look at. So yeah, that's what I'm planning to do, and hopefully I get to it and I can come back with another video talking about what I did, how it looks, and hopefully I document a little bit of it. So the next plan is going to be actually to clean this guy up. I'm going to remove all the scuffs. I'm going to hold off on painting until the very end. I'm going to hold off on putting the new stickers on, but I am going to remove all of the sticker residue that's there with Goo Gone. And I think what I'm going to do then is I'm going to boil some water, and I'm going to try that technique where you boil. The Brits call it boil and pop. I've seen on a lot of channels. I'm going to try boiling it, stick his head in the water, maybe pop it off. But another thing I've found is that you can take either a small screwdriver, or I have this like tool that's just like a poker. It's just like a little sharp little metallic poker thing. And you can put it in these little holes there and wiggle it just a little bit, and the body starts separating. And I haven't managed to separate the whole body, and I almost have to wonder if putting this whole thing in boiling water briefly will make it easier to pop the body apart. That would be an interesting thing to try, because like I said, my one concern are these little pegs. Like if I'm ripping his head off or ripping his arms off after boiling them in water, are those pegs going to like impede my progress? I don't know. But the good thing is I can basically do damage to these three arms, this arm, these legs, and this head, and not feel sad about it, because I have replacements here, and the goal is to put the best possible ones in. These ones are beautiful. Like, you can't see them. These almost feel like they just came right off the factory assembly line. Like, there's no imperfections on them at all. It's beautiful. It's perfection. But anyway, that's the plan. So hopefully I come back in like 2 weeks to a month with another one of these videos, and you can see what carnage there is, or what beautiful things I made happen. Okay, so pretty cool update. As I was waiting for the video that I made to upload, is that I managed to get them popped open a little bit. So what I did was I took one of these tools, and I'm apologizing if the audio is not great. I'm just doing this on the fly. And I put it, let me see if I can hold him up. Or maybe you can rest on here. All right, I put it in here, and I just ever so carefully, and you can see where it was kind of going inside the body. It was just kind of resting on this little arm thing here. And I just kind of moved it back and forth, and I would hear little pops. I wasn't trying to listen for like cracking. I was trying to listen for like, you know, the seam here popping open. And I did the same thing here, just a little at a time. And then I also took the legs, separated them like this, like one to the side, one to that side. And then I kind of pushed one way and pulled one the other, like just slightly. And this little gap started opening. And eventually it popped enough that I was able to shimmy out both arms. So, you know what? I think next video he's going to be separated, and I think we're getting there faster than we even thought we would be. So what I did was I took this screwdriver, and because when this was sealed up, you can see there was starting to be a little gap here. And basically I want to put the screwdriver anywhere where there's like going to be a sticker or a leg part's gonna be covering it. I don't wanna like chew up something that's gonna be exposed. So I just started working this here, worked it into this little slot, went deek, 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 going down. Same with this side, and then I heard a loud pop, and it wasn't like a crack. It kind of sounded like plastic cracking, but it wasn't. And then I just worked my way down the other side. I heard that sound again, crack, and then I looked, and the joint was, it was undone there, and then he just popped open, and everything fell out. So I got the legs here. I got the arms are here. Now the one thing you'll see here, the head doesn't actually fall on a joint. It's within this part here. So there's this little, and I don't get why this is so important. I don't understand these little pegs. Like if they weren't in there, his head would still move around. I don't get it. But yeah, now you can see here, if I put this in boiling water, I 100% bet it could pop out, and then putting this head in place would be incredibly easy. So, geez, like, yeah, this is looking like it's gonna be a 2-part video because I successfully popped this open. I'm so pleased with myself. But yeah, just to go over it again, first I picked up this tool. It's, I don't know what you'd call it, but I've had it. And I put it in the little holes here that are covered by his silver straps, and I just kind of worked it a little, started to hear a little popping, worked screwdriver down here, heard more popping, screwdriver down here, heard more popping, and then boop. So that's just, to me, that's amazing to have, like, look at this. I got everything. I can do whatever I want. So see you next time. Bye.